Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here as always. You might recognize a familiar face. We've got Ben Alquist back with us today from ChainGuardians. We're going to talk about all sorts of cool stuff. You know, I've been supporting this project for a while. Ben's been always super kind to come on the show and talk about all the cool stuff they're doing. So welcome back, my friend.
Hash, as always, it's a pleasure to be here. Love you, love your community, and it's man, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today.
Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm stoked. I mean, to be honest with you, everybody knows you. Most people should know ChainGuardians. If you haven't already, you should look it up. It's a high quality project. That being said, what's the latest on the horizon, my friend? There's some cool stuff going on.
Yeah, well, just a quick little update, I guess, with the ChainGuardians user adoption side of things. We're up to 150,000 registrations through our website, which speaks vastly into what we're doing from a user adoption perspective. We're up to approximately 20,000 monthly active users through our play to earn RPG. And we are currently in the middle of a very comprehensive dev week. And I know that doesn't necessarily sound that exciting, but when we isolate what it means, when we look at the 7 different points that we cover, we're talking about some really big deliverables. It's been a little slow, I guess you could say, from a community's perspective in terms of what we've done recently. And the reason why is because we've been spending a lot of time listening to our community so that we can optimize experiences.
That's the key, right? You know, it's especially for things like this where you have multiple facets of experience. You've got obviously the token economy, which needs to be driven by community governance to the greatest extent you can. You've got the actual game experience, which is obviously critical. If people don't enjoy playing the game or they want something more, they have ideas, you want to hear those. And then obviously the integration with the greater sort of ChainGuardians, ChainBoost ecosystem as a whole. There's a lot going on there as well. So what are some of those things that you've been hearing from the community that you've been working on?
Yeah, so we had this concept, this play to earn concept initially that was driven by trying to optimize for mobile, where we had this off-chain currency. You could play the game or an off-chain currency called CGC. We're getting rid of it. And the reason why is because we've found some pathways to be able to incorporate the full stack of CGG in the game platform, but continue to drive towards that mobile optimization as well. If people don't know already, in play to earn specifically within blockchain, play to earn functions, there's a lot of legal intricacies and complications when it comes to getting on iOS, Apple Store, Google Store, etc.
Yeah.
And so we've been working with our legal team very closely to figure out the best way of doing that. But what that's resulted in is completely getting rid of this off-chain currency, because it's confusing having 3 different currencies. We had fiat, CGC, CGG. We've gotten rid of it completely, and it's now full stack integration on CGG to be implemented as soon as possible. Obviously, it hasn't rolled out yet, and now people are going to be asking, well, now it's just a dump coin. Well, no, so we've done a lot with CGG. There's a lot to be done with CGG. For example, everything you do in the game costs CGG, and we'll talk a little bit about a lockup that we're doing with that token as well. But you know, ultimately, there's a direct correlation between how much you spend, whether it be upgrading a character, purchasing armor, items, increasing level cap, a bunch of other things with CGG. So essentially speaking, the more you spend with CGG, the more you can earn, because it raises the cap of your play to earn function and experience. And then, as you know, we'll talk probably a little bit about ChainBoost later as well. But it really drives this concept of you can literally play the video game, accumulate CGG, which then you can use to get into these IDOs, pre-IDOs, and INOs through ChainBoost. It's the first protocol out there where you can literally play your way to IDOs and all these different lucrative opportunities to support these new and uprising projects as well.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it from day one.
Yeah. That makes sense, man. I mean, listen, you know my thoughts. I think that, you know, obviously there are a handful of different ways in the world to get access to projects in early stages, right? You have the obvious ways, right? You could build up an audience on a social media platform, right? And contribute, you know, that bilateral benefit. You can say, hey, I want to get the word out about a project I like. In return, I have an opportunity to, you know, to get access to tokens early. Everyone knows that. It's well documented. There's a way to do it ethically. There are ways to maybe not do it so ethically. I think what you're doing, though, is really important, because people who may not want to go that route, may not want to go the social media route, they're not like an advisor or a venture capitalist. You can play a game, you could do something that you really enjoy doing, and you can find your way to getting access to early stage investments in crypto and have that lucrative opportunity, which in my mind, everyone should have some pathway to do if they put their mind to it. It takes work and it takes effort to do regardless of how you go about it. But that's why I really resonate with the ChainGuardians ChainBoost mission.
Dude, I have a perfect story about that, actually. We have someone that had the bare minimum to KYC register, which is 500 CGG. He's been in our ecosystem for a long time. There's a loyalty score tied to this boost score, which represents the likelihood that you get IDO, pre-IDO, INO access. And because of his loyalty score, his progress through NFT mining, his progress through the RPG, even with just 500 CGG, he was in the first round, which is the upper tier, the upper echelon for the network land presale. So talk about total empowerment of gamers, total empowerment of people. And that's what we've created. So you know, there is a degree of speculation whether or not CGG is going to turn into a dump token. You know, our whole concept is connecting supporters of ecosystems with high quality projects. And that's what we've done. We've put a lot of careful thought into connecting the two protocols. And as you mentioned, Hash, it's blockchain really is about empowerment of people. And that's what we've done with these protocols based off of a lot of ideation and a lot of iteration through community feedback.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, to that point, right? I think it's always tough because a lot of projects get into this spot where you have to raise to build what you want to build. And when you raise, you obviously have to give up tokens, you have to give up something, right? That's just the way it works. So when that happens, oftentimes, whether it's like milestone based or vesting based on time scale, whatever it is, there are periods where, you know, tokens might make their way to market, or people say, hey, it's up a certain amount. This was the point I wanted to take profits, right? So it can happen organically in many different ways. And I think that's when people start to get upset because, you know, it's always that when it's really hyped, people are trying to get in. And then there's like, if there's price action that's not in the positive direction, people start being like, oh, there's something going on here. And it's really tough. I don't envy that position for someone building something, you know, to be, I guess, beholden to this from a character perspective. So what are some of the things that you mentioned? You're looking at this, like how to keep CGG at the center of the ecosystem, how to keep the token from, you know, moving into that space of being sort of dispensable to people in general.
Yeah, it's really creating value, right? I mean, people make blockchain a lot more complicated than it has to be. Bottom line, create value for consumers, make it do something, right? And CGG, we've created many different DeFi opportunities. We have internal staking going live soon, which you're going to be able to do fractionalized NFT farming for a little bit more gamification. There are also going to be APYs attached to it. So there's a lot of different, you know, it's exactly what you want out of it. And we're creating that customizable experience through DeFi, if that's something you so choose to do with your CGG. We also have traditional concepts on Matic, where you can stake CGG Matic to earn Dino for DinoSwap. Obviously, you get access to IDOs, pre-IDOs, INOs through ChainBoost, which we've spent a little bit of time talking about here. We've talked about how spending CGG will increase your cap to earn through the different platforms. And we'll talk a little bit more. There's a really big B2B announcement we'll have live by the time this gets published, where ChainGuardians is going to become the go-to NFT mining experience, B2B wise. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean, projects essentially purchase 100,000 CGG to sponsor the type of dev work that goes into it. And they create a pool specifically for their NFTs with their token on our platform. And that's huge because the concept there is business says, we want NFT DeFi. We want to add utility to our consumers. So we're going to white label a solution through ChainGuardians. And essentially the only people that can stake their NFTs to earn income are the people that hold our NFTs, and they earn the income through our token. So no one else is doing this. And the reason why is because it takes a lot of work, but there's a reason why I've been so quiet, because essentially this is going to get to the point where, I mean, think about it like this. You're CryptoPunks, right? Need I say more? So we can start to align the puzzle pieces, and that's one of the other big announcements we'll have live with the Dev Week we have going here. Another big announcement we have is a CGG lockup, where any CGG, 50% of all CGG in our ecosystem that inflows into our dev wallets, whether it be NFT purchases, minting fees for when that goes live, marketplace fees for when we roll that out, which is a roadmap item, or across the entire board. So purchases in game are going to go directly into a smart contract that's locked for 5 years. So that looks at sustainability of the ecosystem as well. And I think, that people hear 5 years and it's like, oh, okay. But what does that tell you? I mean, smart people, inquisitive people will tell you that that's our minimum, right?
Yeah.
So we're bare minimum planning for 5 years of growth. And let me tell you, the vision is well past that.
Yeah. And I mean, also the benefit too of doing that in a transparent way like that,
Yep.
where people can easily verify is, in the future that opens you up to all sorts of options, right? You could have a DAO based vote for how those funds that have been locked up and maybe are worth significantly more than they are today as they flow in, how that's allocated to new projects in the Chain Guardians world, right? So there's so many cool things that you can do with that. And it also, I mean, obviously tokenomics are a complex topic.
Yep.
And there's a lot of moving parts, but generally, if you look at it from a fundamentals perspective, the more tokens that you can take out of general circulation that aren't going to ever get dropped on the market for sale, more stable things might be. So there's some ancillary benefits there as well.
Ancillary indeed, kind sir. Yeah, definitely so. And I think the big thing here as well is that we talked about this business to business solution with NFT DeFi, NFT mining. Yeah. It's underpinned by this more complex thing that we haven't really covered yet. And we're essentially going to categorize NFTs into 3 different categories, whether it be characters, land, or crafts, vehicles. And each one of those categories is going to represent something else. So say this Project X comes to us and say we want to be incorporated with this series of NFTs. We'll categorize their NFTs and they do different things. And it's really important because you hear land and it's like, okay, what does that mean? But it's basically going to create active and passive opportunities for people to farm. So if you just want to stake your NFTs to earn income, great, you can do so. But with this character, with this NFT categorization, there's also active ways to further increase your APY through gamification, which is really cool. I mean, the whole concept here, Hash, whatever we talk about today, the huge drawaway is its empowerment of the people through gamification and allowing ordinary people avenues to earn income and lucrative supporting opportunities through IDOs, INOs, and other.
So let's take another example then. Like in this space, like with this, B2B solution and with NFT staking, and there's the NFT staking functionality in the base level is available in the ChainGuardians ecosystem.
Yep.
But let's say I own network land, NetVRK land, however you want to pronounce it. Everyone's got their own way of saying it. What if I have land? It's an NFT. What's the experience like, and what is the gamification around that land if I want to run it through this solution?
Yeah, so really high level, it's as simple as this. NFTs that are categorized as characters represent hash rate. That hash rate represents the likelihood and the rate of which you mine or earn income. Your vehicle, if an NFT is categorized as a vehicle, represents travel time, which is how quickly you can get to the resource necessary to start mining. And then land represents the resources available on any given point, meaning standard land and network, lower capacity. Epic land and network, more opportunity to earn APY. So it's complete interconnection of a lot of different NFT ecosystems where it's entirely tailored to the different series that we bring on board based off of their sponsorship tiers.
And so does the yield from those staking operations, you might have the trifecta. You've got land, characters, and ships or crafts all in there. You're optimized. Where does that yield come from in general? I think that's what people, last time we talked, I think people were asking me like, I get this, it's cool. Where does the yield come from?
Yeah, so that's a great way of putting it. We talked about sponsorship tiers. Obviously, we'll have a pretty massive pool of community ecosystem funds through ChainGuardians being CGG, which is all tied into tokenomics and carefully thought out for sustainability. But we also incorporate other on-chain rewards. So whether that be currently as is BitToken through the BitBoy community, which we have over 600,000 tokens that have been infused through this play-to-earn gamification of NFT mining that we're talking about. And I can't say a whole lot because we're tongue-tied by NDA, but there's going to be an abundant amount of on-chain rewards available through this function.
That's awesome. I'm really excited for that. I think right now it's the focus being let's give people as many opportunities to earn yield, to
Yep.
continue to be incentivized to continue playing games and working on that. And speaking of games, on the pure game side, right? You've obviously got your turn-based game. Is there any further game action coming for people?
Dude, I hate this. This is part of the interview I hate because there's so much I do want to talk about. There's only so much I can talk about, you know? So a lot of changes coming to the RPG. So people can promise you all the things under the moon, Hash, and you know this, but really it's actions that speak. We've basically doubled, if not tripled, our RPG specific dev team because we have a lot of things in store. We've also expanded 3D artists into a different realm for some really exciting things that might be divulged. I guess we're going live on Saturday, so Sunday. So if you want some alpha, stay tuned tomorrow because tomorrow is going to be a big announcement. But we've expanded our team by 2x, 3x over the last couple months, and the reason why is because funding. We have the funding. Opportunity. We have the opportunity. Possibility and vision. We have all of them, right? So it would be a disservice for us. It'd be a disservice for our community not to expand and start to deliver because our track record shows that we deliver on things on our roadmap. And here we are, right? So specifically within the purview of the RPG, like I talked about, we've gotten rid of all the noise when it comes to currency, and income opportunities. So now it's really easy. You play, you accomplish things, you earn CGG. It's super easy to realize income now in the RPG. We're going to have a massive overhaul to UI UX, implementation of talent trees for different characters, categorization of characters. We're going to have some RNG stuff in there. So it's not just click, 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 but now there's real level strategy with real level tactics. We're going to have PvP release so that there's opportunities and avenues for people to earn income through PvP, which isn't currently implemented, but people get tired of going up against bots all the time, or PvE aspects. So we're further gamifying it to have an immersive opportunity for different avenues of earning income. And then our third game release, which is I say it like this, right? So I always use WoW analogy, /played. I don't care who you are. If you played WoW, you're always embarrassed of your /played if you want to talk about it with your significant other, right? But this third game that we're in early phases of development for is designed to be the time sink. What do I mean by that? I'm talking about thousands and tens of thousands of hours where you can spend time on, enjoy time with your friends, and earn income doing so. So we're continuing to optimize where we're at with our different game platforms, being NFT mining. We talked about the B2B solution, so we're expanding there, which we've expanded that team as well. We're optimizing RPG experiences, and we're currently in development of the third game, which is going to be 100% mobile optimized as well.
Amazing. And I will say that latter game with, that you can sink hours into, that sounds like right up my alley. I'll tell you, if I got paid to play RuneScape, I'd be driving a Lambo at the moment.
Dude, no crap. I say that because I remember 7th grade, the freaking grind from 80 to 90 wood cutting while you're doing homework, farming magic logs, dude. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Our team gets it because we live that space. And us, millennials, essentially, if the avenues to play to earn were around when we were growing up, man, dude, like no words. Like honestly, we do a bunch of fluff here in marketing, but no words. Honestly, no words. So like youngsters getting into blockchain, youngsters getting into the space, like no fluff, like flat out, not advice to any degree, but you're in good shape because you can do what you love and get paid for it. Yeah. In what world is that possible? Like some of this stuff, you take a step back and you think about it and you're like, pinch me. Like I'm developing it, our team's developing it. I'm still like, pinch me, like,
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's like it's a whole new world. And back in the day, with RuneScape, I'm looking like, okay, what could I if I sold my account, which is totally against the rules, by the way, so don't try it. But if I sold my account, what could I sell it for? And there's no tools. You're like, do I trust the person that's buying it? Because you basically just give them your password. Really, that's what you do. Yep. And now there's a whole suite of tools. There's a whole technological ecosystem around doing those exact things that we dreamt about. The grand exchange in RuneScape is an actual economy in these games. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
100%. Yeah. And I remember the days too, where it was World 2, trade world trying to like spam all your want to buy, want to sell stuff. Like I remember those days before the grand exchange, dude. Trust me,
Yeah.
I was there. But that's just it. Is it's just about empowering people, easy ways to earn income and have fun doing it. You know, that's the overarching concept here. A bunch of the complexities interwoven, you know, so have you. But you know, hashtag kind of we've talked about a lot of different things, but that's also something I do want to talk about a bit. Is the formula hasn't been solved, bridging gamers with blockchain and, you know, enthusiasts, whether it be art enthusiasts with the NFT aspect of things. And I think what we're doing now is we have the ecosystem in place. One thing we don't talk about is this long-term longevity of the play to earn function, the long-term sustainable and scalable economics behind it all. ChainBoost rewards, ChainBoost tokens has a direct correlation with what we can do with the ChainGuardians ecosystem. So, for example, if the play to earn aspect isn't with your own tokens, but it's constantly cycling through different tokens, there's your solution to the scalability of economies, right? So we've put hundreds and thousands of hours into trying to create a symbiotic platform between two projects and two protocols where it empowers people long term, not short term. And so, you know, the vision isn't to be here in 5 years, even though that's what we talked about with the smart contract lockup for CGG. The plan's not to be here for 5 years, 5 months. The plan's to be here beyond 20 plus years, to be the World of Warcraft of play to earn blockchain gaming. And, you know, we have the team. I'll never give credit to myself, but we have the team. We have one of the most impressive teams in the entire space, and there's no fluff to it. It's just reality. Talk to anyone that's worked with us; they'll tell you it. And we have the vision to get there. You know, and I always say, if there's another team that doesn't get as much, you know, that works harder than us, I really don't want to meet them.
Yeah,
I really don't want to, because they're a special breed.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, there's not enough hours in the day for a lot of this, and I think that, you know, there are projects out there that we're hustling. And I remember early on when we got connected and we first you know started talking on the show, you know, back then it was all hustle, and the results in the market and the attention wasn't quite there yet. But you look at it now retrospectively and you're like, if you just keep moving forward and you keep building, that stuff will come, you know, and you guys have gotten now the attention that you deserve. So, you know, really happy about that and looking forward to what's to come.
Yeah, honestly, I think with tech ecosystems and everything in place, I think we're still being slept on, just for full transparency, right? But I think that people are aware of us, and it's just a matter of time for people to recognize and comprehend the value of what we're adding. And I don't mean to say that to float our boat. I just mean to I'm excited for users, because I want users to experience what we're trying to create for user value added, right? And that's why I'm saying it like this. I'm not saying it to stroke our ego, and we're very humble. Like, I'll be the first one to say we messed up. We messed up a lot along the way. Like, I'll be the first one to say
It's
it.
to be expected.
Yeah. That's just it, man. I think a lot of projects run on ego. That's not us. Like, we've messed up a lot. We've done some good things. We've done a lot of bad things, but it's about who can raise their hand, say we messed up, do something about it, and put it into action, right? And so you're right. You're 100% right. It can be sad when you're working 16 to 20-hour days and your token drops 20% because you have negative consumer sentiment on top of a token unlock through vesting schedules. But guess what? You focus on building, because your ecosystem, your community deserves to continue to drive that value add. And that's what we've done, right? End of the day, it's the focus on building. It's not the focus on speculation.
Yeah, can't argue with that. And, you know, I think having confidence in your mission, not necessarily going after other projects, and, you know, you don't win by tearing down, you win by making your thing the best.
Yep.
That's it. And that's really all there is to it. So obviously, Ben, we see things eye to eye here. I'm really excited by what's to come for the CGG world, for ChainGuardians, ChainBoost, you know, hoping just to keep opportunities flowing to people that play and are participating, and to get in on projects early that they believe in.
Yeah, and that's just it. Is connecting quality community members that are deemed as supporters with these high quality projects that are just getting started. Obviously, Hash will be the first one to tell you that's why we love this platform. Not always do your own research. I'm just a dude. Hash is he might be a cool dude with a nice beard, but he's just a guy, you know.
Yeah,
Don't
the
listen
beard
to
doesn't
us.
stop me from losing money on speculative investments. So
Hey, it's like gosh, I forget the name. That there's like Dwarven Stout where it's like plus X mining or something in RuneScape. I forget the name of it, but it definitely adds that +2 trust score or something to you, man. The beard, the dapperness, it's
I
well
appreciate
portrayed.
that. I
Yeah. So, but I
appreciate
mean,
that, man.
that's just it. Is like I can tell you IDOs, pre-IDOs, INOs, like they're lucrative opportunities. But guess what? Like, do your own research. Take the time to educate yourself. Believe in your own knowledge. Because I'm just a guy, man. So is
Mhm.
Hash. Hash is just a guy. What I can say are numbers. You know, Spores did a 40x. Polka Fantasy, which we just released, has done a 50x as of today.
Mhm.
Babylon's did like a 15x. We brought Network Land pre-sale through our platform, and we may or may not have a handful of really exciting INOs, which is not restricted to countries because it's NFT campaign based,
Mhm.
available for people. And then obviously the schedule is very, very, very full for more projects. So we're working hard, and the only
Exciting
reason why we're
times.
working hard is to add value.
Love it, man. Well, Ben, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. I'm really excited that we got to do this. And if anyone has any questions that are watching the show, you want me to ask Ben, you want me to ask the Chain Guardians team, I will do that. So please leave them in the comments below. Ben, thank you for being here, my friend.
Hash, it's always so great, man. I think as you post this video, maybe we can do an IDO giveaway for some of your community, because I think that's always I talk about value add. It'd be dumb for me not to add some value for some of your community
Hey,
members here.
thanks. That's great. Awesome. Well, that just look out for a Twitter tweet. I always want to say look out for a Twitter blank. Look out for a tweet about that. There's the correct word.
Look
And
out for a Twitter tweet.
look out for a Twitter tweet, as if you didn't realize where it was going to be in the first place. All right. Awesome, Ben. Thank you so much. Thanks to everyone who's watching. Until next time, cheers.